Hey, everybody, people watching this campaign are thinking that we probably have $100 million in the bag because I've now got 20% in the polls in the Democratic primaries against President Biden, and I have the strongest favorability ratings of either President Biden or President Trump in a general election. So when we have to make our filing on July 1st with the Federal Election Commission, people are going to be surprised that we have raised less than $4 million. I've spent practically every moment since this campaign started, not on fundraising, but on getting my message out to the people. And I have to say that in the process of that, I've alienated probably every big money donor in the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. So I'm not going to be getting any money from those guys. I need some money from you. We're not spending your money on expensive consultants or glossy TV commercials. We're doing this on a busman's budget. But with that, we have a 50-state organization. We're blowing up social media. We're really performing very well on the podcast, and we've made that $4 million perform like $400 million. I hope that you also have an assurance that when I get to the White House, I'm going to spend your money wisely as well. I want to ask you if you intended to give to the campaign at some point to do it between now and the end of this month, before July 1st. That's when it's going to really count for us. So even if you can only give $5 or $10, I value that very, very much. So please give us your support today.
Folks, if we're going to win re-election, I need you by my side from the very start. Whatever you're able to chip in, even if it's just $1 or $2, will have a huge impact on our campaign. This might just be our hardest fight yet. Will you make a donation and stand with Kamala and me? It means the world to us. Thank you. Folks,
I am very humbly asking if you could chip in $5, $10, or even $25. I know that times could be tough, and they are tough under this horrible president that we have, crooked Joe Biden. So if you can't contribute now, don't even think about it. Don't do it. You got to take care of your family and yourself. I want you to do that first. But with your donation today, we will win back the White House. We will make America great again, greater than ever before. I promise you that. Thank you.
All right, how's it going, my magnificent sons of bitches? And I've decided to come back today to go ahead and do a video. You know, it's election season, and all of these remedial candidates are ultimately going to go out and ask for donations. So I've decided to come on the internet and do my donations to each of these candidates because this is pretty much exactly the season of e-begging. This is the e-beggars getting together and asking you to stand with Israel, the e-beggars to ask you to free Palestine, and, you know, the same e-beggars that sit there and make ridiculous fucking content on the internet, spread wildly fucking insane, asinine fucking bullshit, and, you know, pretty much put out every fucking propaganda to go ahead and instigate some sort of civil war, or some sort of World War III or something. So I figured I would go ahead and do a video and go ahead and give some contributions, some donations in this video. So, you know, we got 3 candidates right here. We got Slow Joe, Alzheimer Biden. We've got quickly aging over the hill that'll probably end up being like Joe Biden if he gets another 4-year terms in Donald Trump. And then we've got another guy who clearly isn't cognitively, wouldn't be cognitively conducive to the fucking office as well, and Robert Kennedy Jr. So, you know, it's a fucking circus, just like it is every fucking year for DC. It's kind of a joke at the end of the day. And, you know, for the most part, when we look at the internet, this is all you've got, is a bunch of fucking shills and grifters over there just trying to go ahead and jump on board the bandwagon, and ultimately killing off the credibility that was the federal government at one point in time. So, anyways, looking at these three candidates, I'll go ahead and address Bobby Kennedy first. The only reason that Bobby Kennedy is running for president, because he has no fucking, not even close to a snowball's chance in hell at winning it, because he's not really an independent. He's just an outlier. He's like a, you know, some sort of amalgamation of fucking Biden and Trump put together. You know, he just kind of says exactly what he thinks, and he's just trying to get, you know, radicalized interest from both sides to go ahead and support some generic ass cause. So basically, the whole reason the state is running RFK Jr. is to go ahead and justify rigging the election against Trump in 2020. Whenever Biden gets his ass kicked, like he got his ass kicked in 2020. I don't give a fuck what any of these fucking remedial motherfuckers from the State Department will tell you. You would have to be a fucking retarded. You would have to be so fucking retarded for you to fucking sit there and believe that a motherfucker that got the most votes in history with 74 million votes, which is 25% of the fucking population, pretty close, give or take, probably more like 23, but it's fucking insane that if Trump got that many votes, then Joe Biden got more than that many votes is absolutely fucking stupid. So I don't think that, I think at this point in time, the trust in DC is dead. I honestly don't give a shit anymore, because you were given multiple chances to go ahead and fix your fucking, communism, authoritarian type of bullshit. Whenever Trump got into office, the Democrats were given every chance to fucking reform, but they were never going to reform. So now we're at the point to where this vote, to me personally, it's not about Republican and Democrats. It's, do we need a federal government or don't we need a federal government? If we don't need a federal government, then we need to get rid of these motherfuckers before they end up throwing us into another global conflict like they did with the last two world wars. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and get into my donations. And since fucking Bobby Kennedy is the fucking outlier, he is just there to justify Trump's ass kicking that he's going to give Joe Biden, which he gave Joe Biden. This will be like the fucking fourth ass whipping in a row. Third, yeah, he whipped the shit out of Clinton. And mind you, that Clinton wasn't even fucking close to beating Donald Trump. She did not win the fucking popular vote. And it just shows you how out of touch these fucking Democrats are. Then he whips the shit out of Biden in 2020, and now he's gonna whip the shit out of Biden. This is his third fucking election that he won by a fucking overwhelming margin, without the fucking State Department throwing out fucking generic ballots to try and justify being as fucking stupid and fucking ridiculous as you're spending all this fucking money on these college degrees to get a fucking job in DC, to be this fucking dumbed down to the lowest common denominator. You know, they have to justify that shit. And Bobby Kennedy is them justifying the ass kicking that fucking slow Joe is going to take in this election. You know, who would have known that the best fucking campaign advertisement was to let the fucking geriatric fucking dinosaur fucking ideology that is the Democratic ideology, let them go ahead and have control for 4 fucking years, and then you could sit there and not take the blame for their ridiculous ass policies that Trump would have had to take the blame for if he would have won this election. That was probably the best fucking campaign strategy ever in the history of campaign strategies. So, like, the Democrat Party, to me personally, looking at it as a party, is absolutely dead. We know yet you don't care about any of your special interest groups, your fucking homosexual groups, your Black Lives Matters groups, your all of these ridiculous fucking groups. You don't give a shit about. You only give a shit about controlling, fucking interest and shit, controlling the fucking society. So since Bobby Kennedy is the outlier here, and the whole reason he's here is because he's a fucking placebo to justify Joe Biden getting his ass kicked by Donald Trump, this is my donation to you, Bobby Kennedy, and this is my fantasy football team. And to be honest with you, I think it's actually a winning team. You got C.J. Stroud right there. I think that C.J. Stroud is going to be a fucking beast this year. Of course, I picked him up in, like, the third round. He was my quarterback one. I wanted to make sure I got C.J. Stroud. And I mean, the thing is that, you don't get to go ahead and pick a quarterback in the first round when you got to pick up Bijan. Now, Bijan, I doubled up on Texas running backs. I really wanted to get you, Aaron Jones. J.J. McCarthy is your backup quarterback, and I wanted to go ahead and get his running back as my backup. I just couldn't get it, so I got you Jonathan Brooks. I figure he will be the Aaron Jones of this year, and I tripled up on the University of Texas players here, Bobby Kennedy, because I got you Tavian Sanders as your tight end. You got to take with what you could get. I couldn't get Kyle Pitts. I couldn't get you Travis Cleese, but I could get you Jatavian Sanders at a fair market deal. I think that, there's a lot of potential there since he's going to have a young quarterback. Jamar Chase, Mike Evans, you got to take these wide receivers where you get them. I got you your Terry McLaurin, and I got you Brian Thomas Jr. with the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. I have a good feeling that you're going to go a long ways. Maybe not in this fucking election, but in fucking fantasy football, Bobby Kennedy, this is what I'm going to leave you, my fantasy football team. This is all yours. So when you win the fucking, fantasy football, when you win your fantasy football league, you can go ahead and thank the Prodigal Hill for that one right there. So, I'm donating my fantasy football team to RFK. And to be honest with you, it only felt right for me to donate to, my senator, my personal, the guy that has done a lot for this community and whatnot, and has done a lot. I already know he's going to win by a landslide. I think he's running unopposed, pretty much, but that's Ted Cruz. You know what I'm saying? And I meant you may be running against Colin Allred, but that's pretty much the same thing as running unopposed, because Colin Allred is just, getting into the race, ultimately to build up a fucking war chest and to get fucking political donations from the ignorant Democrats here in Texas that think somehow we're going to go back to voting for blue here in Texas. That isn't happening for a long, long, long fucking time. But with that being said, I decided, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and make a donation to Ted Cruz's campaign. And my donations to Ted Cruz's campaign is my thoughts and prayers with you. Now, ultimately, the best campaign strategy, as I've already said, is fucking Ted Cruz might as well as go ahead and pay for all of the fucking Colin Allred fucking propaganda. Have Colin Allred all over YouTube. Pay for that motherfucker's advertisements on every YouTube video and whatnot. This is the best campaign strategy. This is the best fucking idea, marketing-wise, if you're trying to campaign for your re-election, Ted Cruz, is to go ahead and put every one of you Republicans, just go ahead and put your Democrat nominees, the people that you're running back for Democrat, put their shit all over the place. With their little abortion bullshit and their little fucking climate change bullshit. Make sure they interrupt everybody's fucking videos. That way people will get sick and tired of them when they're going to the polls and vote against their ass. If I'm sitting there trying to figure out what's going to happen in the Deadpool commercial, and then some clumsy ass, basic ass YouTuber decides I gotta monetize my channel so I can get money and get paid for playing video games on the internet. And I'm trying to figure out what's going to go down in that Deadpool commercial, and Colin Allred is sticking his big fucking head saying, Republicans are trying to take women's rights and they're trying to put them in a... Then I'm going to get pissed off and I'm not going to vote for the motherfucker. That's how you market in this era in the internet of fucking, trying to go ahead and win elections there, Ted. So, you get my thoughts and prayers, Ted. And so we'll go on to slow Joe Biden. What should I give? What do you give a man who has been given everything by Burisma and fucking crackheads all over the fucking place, but 99.999999% of his own fucking constituents tax? So this is what I'm going to allow you to do, Mr. Joe Biden, if you so happenly win the president of the United States, I'm going to go ahead and allow you to tax the Democrats 99.9999% of their tax, as you can see right here by that chart, with that little line being all that the fucking commie-crats that are out there pushing social Marxists. Just go ahead and tax all their fucking income to like leave them like 0.00001% of their income. And I'll say, you know what? You know, that's what you get. You know, it should be, you know, you shouldn't be earning any kind of fucking, you shouldn't be gaining any kind of real wages. You shouldn't be getting any kind of interest, you know. You should just have the bare minimum. If you're going to be a fucking commie-crat, then you don't need any, you know, any kind of real net gross or anything. You know what I'm saying? You don't really need to produce, you know, just rely on Uncle Sam to go ahead and give you those fucking welfare checks. And, you know, you can eat government cheese and shit. I don't give a shit at the end of the day. You know, get government food. You can go to fucking Aldi's and get the fucking Mitnacks or whatever the fuck they are, the fucking clones of Kit Kats and shit. And you know, that should be, that's you. That is all you. You are totally entitled. So I give Joe Biden 99.9999999% of the tax of the fucking Democrat, of his voter base. Not the Republicans. Don't tax the fucking Republicans unless you want a fucking war. And then whenever they're out there fucking hanging you from the rafters like fucking Mussolini, then I'm going to be sipping my fucking tea like Kermit the Frog saying, you know what, that's none of my business. But you can go ahead and tax the commie-crats, and in fact I'm sure that there's a way that the State Department can tell if you're a fucking commie-crat who you voted for. When you voted for Obama, you get to go ahead and tax them that 99.99 whatever the fuck percent of their fucking tax revenues goes to Joe Biden from now on. So shall it be said, so shall it be done. So, the last candidate, the one that will probably end up being president of the United States, whether you like it or not, I don't honestly give a fuck one way or the other. I suspect the State Department has to put this motherfucker in right now before they have a fucking uprising and they're all hanging up there like fucking Mussolini with Joe Biden. And that's going to be Donald Trump. So what can I give Donald Trump that Donald Trump doesn't already have? He's a billionaire, Mar-a-Lago. You know how they're fucking doing it. Supposedly the motherfucker's got a hot-ass Russian girlfriend. I don't even have a Russian girlfriend. But the motherfucker has a hot-ass Russian girlfriend. So what the fuck could I give Donald Trump? Here we go, Donald Trump. I'm going to go ahead and give you my fucking ideas for when your ass wins the presidency in 2024. So, like, you know, the idea that you don't really need a fucking border wall. All you need to do is go ahead and take out those drug cartels in Mexico and down there in South America and in Central America. All those CIA-funded sex trafficking rings and those fucking CIA-funded drug cartels. Let's just go ahead and take them fucking out. We'll go ahead, use that oil to help fix the Mexican infrastructure, to help fix the South American infrastructure. All that money that's going over there into the Middle East can now go into the Central Americas and the South Americas, as we can go ahead and use that oil to subsidize and use, you know, those resources to go ahead and help. And we can go ahead and market this oil to the Asian market. And we can use this money that we get not only to pay off our debt, not only to go ahead and balance our own fucking budget, but to go ahead and help Mexico's infrastructure. To go ahead and fix up the Mexican infrastructure. We can go ahead and invest in Mexico. We can go ahead and put some TLC and go ahead and put some dollars behind the Mexican market. All of a sudden your illegal immigrants that came over here illegally will probably want to migrate back to Mexico if the quality of life is better, and if the expected life expectancy goes up, there'll be an open market for doctors, dentists, lawyers, market, everybody. You'd have a lot of people going back to Mexico because the market would be wide open. And we can go ahead and make that peso competitive with the dollar. Let's go ahead and go with the American Springs Initiative, and in fact we can go ahead and extend that pipeline on into Canada. We can go ahead and refine this oil here in the United States. And like I said, there's more than enough of those Asian countries that we can go ahead and market this oil to. There's enough of those Asian people out there that would be very willing to go ahead and cut a deal to go ahead and industrialize a lot of those fucking countries over there so they can go ahead and take their own step and not have to rely on that Middle Eastern oil. We can go ahead and use that because of your wall, or instead of your wall. We can go ahead and do some tort reforms, go ahead and increase the supply, open up price transparency, go ahead and put a competitive market in that healthcare that you've tried to destroy with the fucking commie cough bullshit that you were trying to push out there, which ultimately I certainly believe you deserve tribunals for. All of DC deserves tribunals for that fucking little political stunt that you tried to pull. With that being said, we can go ahead and introduce price transparency, increase the supply, bring down the cost, of healthcare and whatnot, take away a lot of the government regulations that cause the healthcare to go ahead and go up. Now you have all these fucking 501c3s out there that do absolutely fucking nothing for what the charity organizations, they don't have, you're having these World Health Organizations built off of the shit, the fucking CDC and all of these 501c3 outlets. We can go ahead and use that money to subsidize the pre-existing and the low income. There's more than enough 501c3 money. And even if you want to go ahead and throw the church out there, little secular shills that are going to be sitting there saying, well, what about the church? I don't give a fuck. We can throw the church's money out there too, as well, and we can probably get something done for these people. And in fact, there'd probably be more than enough to go ahead and build low-income housing for homeless vets out there. But if these motherfuckers wouldn't steal all of your fucking money and sit on it, like, hoarding all this fucking resources and shit, the dollar would probably go a lot longer and be a lot more efficient if they wouldn't hoard the shit. So, there's a lot of fucking solutions out there. We can go ahead and cut the shit with the State Department. We can go ahead and, get rid of HR 5736, which has turned your fucking media into nothing more than a fucking propaganda outlet. And you can also go ahead and take that fucking HR 5181 and then go ahead and throw the entire National Defense Authorization Act into the goddamn trash, because ever since we've passed that fucking gelatinous piece of fucking shit since the early 2000s, the fucking quality and of the American economy has went just further and further down. There's just too much fucking status fucking bullshit in that, and we need to go ahead and start limiting the reach of some of these fucking bureaucracies, if not totally and all out scrapping them, like the fucking IRS, with the fucking income tax. Really, at the end of the day, that's why you got to keep starting all these fucking civil wars and fucking world wars and shit, is to justify even taking the goddamn income tax in the first place. So the IRS could totally be a fucking a federal agency that we could, the Department of Public Education and the fucking teaching of fucking evolution, that's absolutely fucking horseshit, can be totally fucking scrapped. So, after getting all this shit off of my chest, after going ahead and making these political campaign donations, as it was, to these officials, I feel a lot better. I feel like I've covered all my bases. I figured, go ahead and do this video. So you people tell me, are you going to make some donations to these people? Are you going to go ahead and throw some money into these fucking millionaire and billionaire motherfuckers so they can sit there and talk shit about each other on fucking CNN or MSNBC or something and talk about climate change and the borders, they're bringing the borders, and, women's rights shows, and all the other fucking inflation and shit. The problems that they cause. I mean, you're going to sit there and listen to that shit, or you're going to donate to their campaign. Anyways, you people tell me what you think. You like, sub, do the shit the internet tells me to do to get over, and for now, I'm out.